It's Monday, the 25th of April 2016. This is a chart update for Perseus mining. This probably feel like a little bit of deja vu to people who've been watching these videos for Perseus for the last 18 months. We've been stuck in this range between 20 and 50 cents. And I've talked about how in the past that this range was really set up in 2013 when the gold price plummeted and Perseus had a lot of operational issues. And I think a lot of the smart money sort of exited around that time, which were these sort of massive drops. It was down. It went from $1 down pretty quickly. Obviously, this week we've had a pretty good run as well. Perseus has recently acquired Amara Mining, which is a UK listed with a Ivory Coast project, which is one of the better development projects in Africa from what I've seen. Share price has probably run a little bit later than some of the other gold stocks that have run in the last couple of months. I guess the uncertainty now has been removed with that takeover being complete. I'm a little bit wary around the chart and the quarterly that's going to be released during this week. They have to release it by the end of April. I think that'll show that costs still remain elevated at Edikan. You can sort of tell by some of the investor presentations they've done that they haven't really focused that much on that, and I think that's an indication that the quarterly will probably be on the sort of weaker side again. I think some of the, Perseus has a tendency to fall pretty quickly on these quarterly results. You can see here, it's not unheard of for it to fall 15 or 20% in a couple of days. I know this one here in July last year threw a lot of people. I think it was down 25% or so in one day. And again, in January we had the same thing. So I'm expecting the quarterly to be on the weaker side, and that in the past has shown a lot of volatility in the share price. So if anyone's a recent entrant here, that's probably something you might need to prepare yourself for. That's just my feeling on the quarterly and just sort of the vibe I'm getting from some of the presentations. Longer term, I think, I've got the latest presentation here they released this week. Just the quality of the Yarrow deposit in Ivory Coast is really, really good. I mean, you've got, as you can see here, measured indicator resources of 5.2 million ounces, and that is just a huge project. This is a presentation from another company called OreCorp, which is ORR on the ASX, which I also like. And you can see here OreCorp's highlighting its project. It's a high grade with quite a good resource. But you can see here of all the good sort of projects in Africa and elsewhere, Yaouray's right up the top there as one of the best projects in terms of grade and scale in the world. This is Gold Road's project here. Gold Road's valued at sort of 300 million Australian dollars. Yaouray's got probably almost as good or better economics than Gold Road. Really good mine life as well. So I think that's a real winner, that project, and they've picked it up. Perseus have picked it up just before all these gold stocks have started running. I haven't looked at all these names, but on a lot of these companies on this list have probably risen 50 to 100% in the last month, maybe more. So Perseus really got in and picked up Amara with perfect timing. That project really looks good. But in the short term, I think Perseus is going to have some issues at Edikan still. You can see here in 2017, they're still forecasting a very high all-in cost. Now there's a lot of work they're still doing with relocation of housing, I think. That's still going to take place this year. But you can see from then on, they've changed the mine plan, and they've removed a lot of the sustaining capital expenditure for the next years after that, so probably from 18 to 20. And there's going to be some really good cash flow here. You can see 283,000 ounces, 303,000 ounces from Edikan in the next 2 years. And the good thing about that is it coincides perfectly with when Yaouré, they'll need to get financing for the Yaouré deposit. So it means that they can help finance that themselves to a large degree. Although I don't think in a rising gold market, I don't think they'd necessarily have a problem financing that project, given the compelling economics. They've already also talked about Sisingwe for the last year or so. It does look like they're going to start development of that project. I expect an announcement in the next couple of weeks. You can see here they're predicting first gold production by June 2017, contingent on a May 2016 start date. So they're going to have to announce that in the next week or two if they're going to hit that construction start date. So perhaps with the quarterly, you might see that as well. There might be a small financing package to go along with that. They do still have about $100 million in cash. I think that's Australian dollars. So, I mean, they can finance quite a bit of it themselves. But if they can get Sissingué coming online in 2017, you can see here that's really going to coincide with the sweet spot in Edikan production as well. So you're going to see 350,000 ounces a year roughly, at all-in cost probably less than $800, say, or around $800, which is, it's $400. You're going to be producing sort of 150 million US dollars of free cash flow on those numbers, which really looks like it makes the company look like a good proposition. Edikan's costs gradually falling as well, so then there's probably opportunity to extend mine life there as well. So I think Perseus really looking good on that longer term, but I think you have to be very wary of this upcoming quarterly if you're someone who's entered this stock as a long-term proposition. Perseus is a very volatile company. The other thing is I think those Amara shareholders are just getting their new Perseus shares, and there's a potential that some of them might want to get out just because they don't want to hold ASX listed shares. But you got to be a little bit wary of this company. But I think in the medium to longer term, once they get over their sort of short-term issues and sustaining capital, I think Perseus is a really good buy. But just watch out for a pullback.